We're back talking about the economy, the election, inflation, and what you need to know, what you need to do to be prepared to move forward with peace, clarity, confidence, leaving the stress and the struggle and the fear behind. So, we're going to talk today about the offensive and the things that you need to be doing to be prepared to set yourself up for success when it comes to making money. So, let's get to it. Welcome back to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. We are talking, this is the third part in a little series that we've done talking about the economy, inflation, the election, all of those things that are coming up that can create all of that stress, struggle, fear for you and how to move forward with the confidence. So in the first episode, we talked about why these things happen, the manipulation that goes on with the US dollar, and then how to take care of you. The aspects here where, it's emotional, you're feeling these things. It's not always logical. And when those emotions come up, what you can do to protect yourself, I guess, beforehand, and then afterwards on a reactionary, making sure you're taken care of. Okay. And then last week we talked about the defensive side. So what do we need to do when it comes to managing our money to make sure that you're set up for success and that you can move forward without the fear, without the struggle, without the frustration, all the things. Okay. Which brings us to this week, where we get to talk about the offensive side when it comes to making money, things that we need to be aware of, ways to set yourself up for success, and making sure you are doing the things that you need to do to combat what's going on in the economy, whether this is right now, dealing with the election season, or in the future, whatever new thing that we're dealing with, right? Okay. So, let's start with this. If you're feeling these emotions, know that your buyers, your customers are feeling them as well. So just approaching it with a little bit of grace, a little bit of giving them space. I sent an email a couple weeks ago now that was talking about the concept of my job, or I mean that it's my job. Part of what I do is making sure that I have that space just to really hold my clients when we go through those emotional waves, the emotional roller coaster, when those things show up, giving them space to really feel held when we work through those, especially when we're talking about something with money. And that's the first part that I just want you to be mindful of, because as a society, as a buying force, our consumers are more aware. It's not that they weren't before, but we're not falling for the shiny object syndrome and the flashy bro marketing, for lack of a better word, that's been going on before. And if we're just going into this high pressure environment, our buyers are more knowledgeable. They're probably a little more cautious as well, right? And we're going to get to that in a second about some strategies that we've worked on and things to be mindful of. Okay. So if you're feeling this, your clients are as well. Other things that we're noticing, people are spending less time on social media, right? I know that I have felt the pull to not post as much. There's a couple things that I'm doing more talking to camera reels, some of those moments where, I've just felt the shift in needing to speak out some of these things and share it in stories, share it in reels, but doing less of the post. Now, if you're posting and you feel called to do that, great, keep at it. But just being mindful of the fact that people are pulling back, spending less time on social media. So what should you be doing instead? I know for myself, when I sat back and reflected on it, most of the buying that I do comes from my email list or my email. So making sure that you're nurturing your email list, growing your email list, selling to your email list. Those are the three pillars, right? But doing those things and engaging in other ways and honoring the fact that people are not on social media as much. Or maybe they're just checking DMs. They're not scrolling as much. So maybe it's one-to-one conversations and you work really well with referrals or whatever that might be. Being mindful of the way that your customer base is operating and selling in a way that works, that feels aligned for you and for them. We talk about this in the Cash Flow Unlocked training. It's like, okay, where are you actually getting results? Because, for a while we were all like pointing on reels. And yes, I love creating reels and doing those things and having, like, it's fun for me. But was I getting clients from that? Not really. There was one client that I can think of that I technically got, like, that she became a client because of a reel, but it was, I posted a reel and somebody that I'm friends with and that I've worked with shared the reel, and then she saw it. So then she followed me, and then we had a conversation on a podcast, which is another thing. It's the other thing I would lean into is, hey, the podcast, you're listening to the podcast, right? But being mindful and doing the strategies that work, thinking about that people aren't necessarily on social media as much, or maybe they're just being more intentional with what they're doing on social media. Okay. Other things that you can do and that I would recommend. Now this, I'll put my caveat on it because some people prefer to sell only high ticket, have one package, and there is not one way that you should market, that you should sell in your business. But I know as the buyers community that overall people are needing more touch points, more time to get to know you before they're ready to buy. Now, there are definitely people that can show up and that can find you today when you are owning your power, you are aligned in your message and the way that you help people, and they can find you this morning and buy your highest package. That definitely happens. And if you don't feel that can happen, we need to work on that part here. We're going to get to more of that maybe in a second. But what I would do, what I've done, really what I've always done, because I want to make sure that I have a variety of offers depending on where you're ready at, but diversifying. What level of price points, what different levels of commitments do you have available that people can work with you? So do they have to be all in at your $10,000 package, or is there something that they can buy for $47, $97, whatever it might be there, that gives them a taste when they're ready? And then they can build that confidence. Again, you don't have to do it that way. This is your business. But these are the things that I've continued to work on. So making sure that you have a variety of price points available, offers, packages, self-study, coaching support, whatever it might be, having different ways that people can work with you. And this does not need to be like 50 million. I think 2 to 3 main ones is excellent. And then of course, like I host workshops a couple times throughout the year, but like if you're inside the Unstoppable experience, then you've already got that, or you can buy it as a one-off. There's a lot of people that operate that way. But again, it's what feels aligned to you. But being mindful is really what this is about. Mindful of the customer journey. And do you have something that can be the one step, the one next step for them? And maybe that one next step leads them to the next step, leads them to the next step, and then they're in your highest package. But also knowing that you're doing the work that you need to. Put the offers out there, that you are set up to receive those clients that you're looking for. And there's a trust that's set up there. One of the coaches that I work with, Melanie and Lair, she says it's pineapple season, or pineapple season is coming. So if you don't know, when you're growing a pineapple, you have one pineapple crown, and it takes 18 months to grow a pineapple. It's longer than it takes to grow a human baby, right? Just as long as an elephant. But an elephant's significantly bigger, right? But it takes 18 months for that pineapple to grow. After that pineapple is harvested, the same pineapple crown will produce a second one in 12 months. So if you've got these things set up and then you've got them out there, and that you have the ability to receive, and having that faith, that belief that you will receive, and that can be hard when the fear is showing up, right? Because things feel uncertain and you need to show up now. Well, what if it's coming? What if pineapple season is coming? It's almost there. And you just have to sit in that faith and that trust that you're doing the things that you need to. And this goes back to, the mindset work, the emotional part. Are you doing the part that you need to take care of you? Are you doing the things that you know that you're called to do? Do you feel in alignment with that? That you can stand there and know that it's coming, that the things that you are looking to receive are coming. And that can be hard when it's not showing up yet. It's like, I need it to happen now. Like, I've got bills to pay. That's where the faith has to show up, and that trust. And you have to work on expanding that energy and that belief. So we're doing the tactical things that we need to, but we're also holding that energetic space as well. So the tactical things, of course, are selling to people. And then, of course, making sure we're selling. That goes back to cash flow unlocked as well. Are you actually making the offers that you need to? Okay. Having that set up and knowing that those things are in place and that it's coming, that you're going to be taken care of, that belief, that trust in yourself. And for me, it's a trust in God that he's going to take care of me. I've done my part. We've planted the seeds, we've watered them. We're waiting for the harvest, and it's coming. And that's an ongoing process, because there's always a next level that we're working towards, right? When you achieve that income goal, it's that balance between gratitude with where we're at and looking forward to the next. Gratitude and growth, right? Other things that you can be working on in that time are cash flow skills. They talk about they can't take away from you what you know from the neck up. So what personal development skills, what sales skills, what emotional nervous system regulation, there's so many things that you can be learning to also improve yourself, but not again from a space of where you're broken. It's just about unlocking that next level. Okay. We could also talk about, ways to diversify beyond the US dollar, precious metals, investing in some of those things that kind of freeze your wealth. And we have those options, but I'm thinking this is where we leave it. Got one bonus episode that I'm going to include in this mini series, talking more about identity theft, credit, some of those things, because when there's uncertainty in the world, the bad guys show up, for lack of a better word. So, identity theft is so prevalent right now, and knowing what to do to prepare beforehand, after the fact, and then maybe a little bit on managing credit, maximizing the use of your credit as well. So that's what I've got for now. If you have questions, make sure to reach out on Instagram at Aimee Cerka. Link's going to be in the show notes below. We'll see you next time. If you're struggling with shame and guilt around your finances, whether it's debt, impulse spending, mistakes from the past, or the fact that you still haven't hit your income goal, then it's time for you to work with me. There are different levels of support and price points that you can use on the path to removing that guilt and shame so you can step into your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique to you, and your support should be too. Go to workwithaimee.com to get started with one of my most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what that next step should be. And those links are hanging out in the description of this video as well.